Hi, friends. Thanks for joining us. Do us a favor. Smash that subscribe button underneath. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Yeah, you can find us Ray Benny Sports. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky now too. Check us out on Reddit and Discord. And don't forget to leave us a rating on your favorite podcast provider.
We're back from our mini hiatus. There's a lot to talk about in Bomberland, so we got to hop back on. So we got some Bomber Talk brought to you by Fahrenheit Airbrushing. It's a holidays. Check them out for some good holiday Christmas, holiday present ideas. Stand out on the ice, pavement, field, or in the stands with a custom airbrushed helmet, goalie mask, or any project. A local Manitoba business with affordable solutions. Check out Fahrenheit Airbrushing on Facebook or call them at 204-891-7431.
Yeah, and don't forget to tell them that Ray and Benny sent you. And like you said, it's not just helmets that they do. They've done a guitar. They've done a hat, like a cowboy hat. So there's other things they can do. So check them out.
Retirement helmet for a fellow firefighter.
Yeah, exactly.
Just whatever idea you can think of. Call them up so it doesn't get too busy. Yeah. There's a lot of Bomber fans. Custom Bomber what? Anything.
Exactly.
Send your car in. Maybe. I don't know. Too much.
Big W on the hood.
Oh, I'm going to send in your ride. Thoughts on Buck Pierce hiring now as a BC Lions head coach? You want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, good for him. I guess he's paid his dues in the league. OC, where he started first with the Bombers up to OC and all that. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do as the main guy. The one thing that kind of piques my interest in this is the fact that he confirmed he is going to be calling plays in addition to being the head coach. So I'm like a little skeptical on that when guys are just coming in to be that new head coach and not enough experience in other spots. Right, running a whole team and also making a game plan for that offense. So hopefully that works out for him. But if he was being just straight head coach, and then you get at least a veteran OC, or make sure actually this time now that you bring a veteran DC in there to help you out, maybe someone who has coached before in the past, maybe Richie Hall, maybe he takes him down there, who knows. But you need that experience around you to help you because it's going to be a learning curve no matter what. But I'm excited for him, see what he can do.
Did Brian Dinwiddie play call when he got the head coaching job?
Can't remember.
I'm concerned specifically with Buck Pierce taking on the play calling. I don't think it's in general a bad idea. I think Dave Dickinson did it, although he was under pretty strict control, maybe with John Huffnagel, quality control there. But specifically what's happened in the past 3 Grey Cups when it's come to big time, the play calling, especially this last one, when it seemed like the running game was abandoned. Because, his offenses have been fairly effective throughout the years. Like the past 3 years, Brady Oliveira has been the top of running. Zach Collaros has been a top of passing yards and touchdowns, except for this year. So he can definitely call plays. It's just when it comes to crunch time, and this time it's a game-to-game scenario when you have more on your plate. Can he handle it? And I'm sure there will be bumps in the road, just like there were bumps in the road with Mike O'Shea at the beginning. There are questionable, his end of the game decisions. So I hope that BC and their management and Amar Doman are patient with Buck Pierce, because I truly think he'll be a great head coach. I think he has a personality for it. I think he comes from a great breed with Mike O'Shea. He's been through a great program, see how a great programs work. I think he'll bring that culture in. I hope he doesn't try too hard to be like O'Shea at the beginning. He has to be himself as well. But yeah, congratulations, like you said, well deserved. He's paid his dues, and I think he'll be successful. Not right off the bat, but I think
exactly. Yeah, we need to get back to that Grey Cup here at least one more time and win it at home. But it's interesting, like you say, like O'Shea learned, from stuff. We watched him grow kind of as a coach, making weird decisions, and we questioned him at first, and then he figured it out, didn't do those again. We saw Corey Mace do it as well this year too. So, and Jason Moss when he took over. So yeah, now seeing Buck, I'm sure he's going to make mistakes, and it's a lot on your plate being the coach and the OC. So we'll see where it goes. I was kind of interested because I read the article on 3 Down Nation with Nathan Rourke and how close he was to Jason Maximich, right? I don't know if I said that right. So sorry, Jordan Maximich. And that was interesting to see how his reaction will be with Buck Pierce and how because one of the reasons he went back to BC was because of Jordan,
Yeah.
and Jordan helped him break out the way he did back in 2022. So it'll be interesting, that dynamic together. Buck came out and said, hey, he wants to work together with Nathan Rourke.
Of
So
course.
that's a good start right there. Not just saying, hey, this is what we're going to play and that's it. You got to build with the guy, and they're going to hopefully, for the league, they're together for a long time, right?
Yeah.
So you got to build that relationship. So it'll be exciting to see.
That's a big difference between him and O'Shea's beginnings is he has a bona fide starter.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned about, did he lose his touch? Did the NFL ruin him? Has he been too far away from the game as a starter? Nah, I just think he needs a full preseason, a full training camp, with the preseason to get the rhythm again with the team. And it's not under the pressures of being mid-season and you have to come back and make the playoffs because you're number one star and all that. No, I think I think actually having Buck Pierce, a different set of eyes offensively, will be great for him, and a guy who's played QB successfully in the league. Maybe get that gunslinger mentality back.
Yep. And it'll be interesting to see what BC does. Do they go all out trying to win it next year, or do they kind of take a little step back and build for a longer term instead of trying to win? Because they were close, right? They've been close for the last few years to winning this thing. So I mean, not that they're going to tear it down completely, but maybe they just don't go and sign everybody. They're veteran guys. Maybe they step back a little bit and say, "Hey, let's build this." But
Buck Pierce already says he got to sign McInnes and Betts.
Yeah,
so those are your two big ones right there, and stand back.
Exactly. Yeah, those guys are still young, so you definitely want to keep those guys around. Well, sorry, Betts is still pretty young, so
yeah, and he's even getting up there.
Yeah.
Who then, with Buck Pierce gone, would be your first choice for Bombers OC? Anyone who's seen me online knows that I'm all in with Jarius Jackson. I just really like how he handled the offense in Edmonton, especially coming out of the first third of the season with Chris Jones involved. He also had to deal with rotating QBs, and I guess that would be his number one criticism maybe in that decision of who he's playing when, who he's going to ride. That wasn't very clear, but when you have a number one like Zach Collaros, that's not even going to be an issue. He had the second best running game in the league, with a rotation of running backs with Brown, Leak, and Rankin. And of course, he had Trey Ford's legs that he can use. He won't have that, but he has Brady Oliveira. And I like that he really likes to use his running game. Even with McLeod Bethel-Thompson, he was leaning on that running game. So, and I also think the Bombers pushing to win a cup at home, they can't be experimenting with a rookie play caller. And compared to other candidates right out there, I think Jarius Jackson is the fit right now. Because there's Mike Miller, the QB coach from the Argos, this Lionello guy, the Als receiver, and actually Pete Costanza. I might even talk myself into Pete Costanza because he was a former Bomber coach, former running back coach in 2021. He knows the lay of the land. He knows the culture. He was a passing game coordinator in Toronto. He might actually be a better candidate than Jarius Jackson. What any which way? I'm gonna go with.
Has he been an OC before?
No, that's the thing. He'd be a first-time OC, and you really have to depend on what he learned from Ryan Dinwiddie because he was the number two pretty much as a passing coordinator. So,
did he get fired this year? Or am I thinking of someone else?
Costanza?
Who am I thinking of? No, the Hamilton special teams guy. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was thinking. Never mind.
Sorry if we're going to say Costanza, but
yeah,
that's my second one. But Jarius Jackson, number one.
Yeah, Jarius Jackson would be a good one. Like you say, he hasn't been doing it for long, but that last season, like you say, his numbers were pretty good. I'm thinking just with the Grey Cup being here in 2025, I think the Bombers would probably try to keep it in-house and keep the same kind of offense going. That's the only thing. Jarius Jackson's going to come in with a different offense, right? And right now, Zach Collaros is kind of used to one that's being run by the Bombers for the last few years when it went from Lapo then to Buck Pierce. So I'm thinking go with Kevin Burgoyne, wide receiver coach of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers right now. He's been there for 7 years. So you talk about a guy that's been around the culture and that has kind of helped build this team. Started with the running backs and, obviously Andrew Harris had some of his best seasons. Bombers went on to win the Grey Cup. Now he's been coaching the wide receivers for the last few years. You got guys like Dalton Schoen coming in, Kenny Lawler coming back, Dembski posting 1,000 yards for the first time back to back. And then you had the rookie guys last year with all the injuries. Ontario Wilson, Wheatfall, Clarcius, all coming and playing pretty good games and pretty big roles for the Bombers throughout the season with courses and injuries. So the only problem, like you say, no experience being an OC in the CFL so far, but he's built that resume and he's been here for a long time and he's kind of, bided his time. And maybe it's time to see what he can do and step up to that role. And it probably keeps the offense not the same, but pretty similar to what it is now.
And if we're going with tendencies, O'Shea is yet to hire a coordinator from the outside.
Yeah.
Am I right here?
Right. Yeah.
Because Lapo was his first. No, not Lapo wasn't his first. He had the incoming offensive coordinator, which he took on, which was a nice guy move. So then he brought in Lapo. Then it went to Buck Pierce. He had Richie Hall come in. Then it was Jordan Younger that was promoted from within. So
Mike Miller to special teams.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, like you say, maybe not at the beginning, but in the last few years, it's definitely been kind of in-house stuff, and keeping that culture the same. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what they do. But yeah, they got to get it right though, right? Because you got the Grey Cup here. Many fans, they're expecting to go to this game and hopefully see the Bombers playing it for the first time in Winnipeg. Being in the Grey Cup and seeing it live in Winnipeg. So. Oh, it'll be fun. This is an interesting hire, and O'Shea's got to get it right.
Well, maybe like if you're bringing an OC in, chances are the staff is staying.
Yeah,
I think O'Shea would be a champion for the staff of the guys who are there. So maybe that would be a bridge with Jarius Jackson. You keep a lot of the old lingo. He can, during the offseason, meet with the coaches. They can coach him up on the lingo, and he can bring some of his ideas and kind of, bring it to come training camp any which way. Lots of time.
That's the interesting thing about the CFL. You don't the cap, right? So you can't just get rid of some of these guys and clean house, if they're still in their contract and bring in new guys, because then the cap's going to play a factor into this all, right? So you got to probably keep a decent amount of guys still sticking around. Like Richie Hall's, he's still under contract, right?
I don't.
Because did he have to get permission to go talk to Ottawa?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure he's making some decent money himself there. So.
Interesting. Another Bomber staffer gone, this time to the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Ted Govea. Thoughts on that? Great for Ted, bad for us. Just instrumental in building a Canadian core, and great for Hamilton as well. When you have talent like Terrell Ford and Retta Cramdy, Drew Wolodarski, Brady Oliveira, Tanner Cadwallader, Gabe Wallace, such a solid foundation over the years. And I don't think there's anyone in-house with that amount of experience with U Sports, CIAU, and Canadian content and the draft. So it'll be interesting I'd assume they'd bring someone in, but we'll see. Good for Hamilton, though. Good score. They need it.
Yeah. Pretty much everything that you said. Like I said, it is tough for the Bombers because he hit on some of those Canadian talents in that draft later rounds. Like he hit on some of these guys. So we're definitely going to miss that. And we saw what happens when you don't have enough quality Canadians in years past, right? With certain guys and certain GMs. So they definitely need to fill big shoes there, and hopefully they can do that. But yeah, good for him. We'll see what he can do in Hamilton. It'll be good to have another Canadian boy running a team out there. So.
I'll be cheering for him.
Not too much, though. We're cheering for a lot of guys out here, right? Bobby Dice out in Ottawa. Now Ted Govea.
Everyone go in the East. We can cheer for you. Buck Pierce, not going to cheer for you much. One word to describe the Stanley Bryant signing.
It's exciting. I'm happy about it. He's one of the three guys that we talked about, our last episode of what you want to bring back, right? Or who you want to bring back, not what you want to bring back. So I'm excited to bring that guy back on the left side. He's still playing at a pretty good level, and man, he's excited himself. Just hearing the interview and how he still thinks he's one of the best guys out there, and he's played like that. So it'll be good to have him back. So I'm one good guy down that they have to sign.
I think it was necessary. I agree with him. He's still probably one of the best in the league at him being a left tackle. Injuries are always going to be a concern when you play that long, without a doubt, and put that much punishment on your body. Not like he was dealing with injury. He just had that crazy thing happen when he was ill. But physically, he was pretty steady throughout the season. Next couple nicks here and there. But when the GOAT still thinks he can go, you let the GOAT go. So necessary signing for Buck Pierce in that push. One word to describe the Tony Jones signing. I'm going to use the word exciting in this one. This guy brings the energy and physicality to the game, and he is electrifying. And when he stepped in for Biggie in the middle, everyone knew that this dude found his home. I love the move, and to give him 2 years is huge. And even if Biggie does come back, both of them on the field at the same time, shoot, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing either. So I love this signing.
Yeah, I like it too. I'm going to go with interesting as my word, because then that means either Adam Bighill's not coming back or Kyrie Wilson's not coming back. You know, you're probably not having all three of these guys because you already got Reddick Cramdy on the other spot. So you're not there. You don't need somebody there.
Nope.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see who they're kind of going with. I'm leaning towards them still signing Bighill for some kind of contract, at least nothing too high. But Kyrie Wilson again had a rough season with injuries this past season. So it may be time to kind of move on from him and go to a younger, not younger, I guess, because if you bring in Bighill back, then probably Tony Jones probably goes in Kyrie Wilson's spot, right?
Yeah.
So, and then bring up some younger guys behind that, because you got to start rebuilding this pipeline at different spots.
Brian Cole, bro. You got Brian Cole.
Yeah, because Bighill's getting older. This is probably Bighill's last year coming in here. Yeah. And I can't see Bighill wanting to go somewhere else, and I can't see the Bombers letting him go somewhere else, because sometimes their loyalty is pretty strong. So,
and he has a lot of roots in Winnipeg. He has a lot of roots beyond football in Bighill in Winnipeg. Yeah. So why uproot the family and his business? And I don't know, but hey, maybe he can go play somewhere and come back here and live. But I don't want to think of that situation.
Yeah, I think he's back.
I do too. It'd be great. Bring the band back together. If you had to pick between, because it's close to free agent time, Jalen Philpot, the Canadian receiver from Calgary, or Dalton Schoen, who would you choose to sign?
I'm probably still going to go with Dalton Schoen because he has obviously shown that he can really put up some big numbers in the CFL, and him and his connection to Zach Clarles has been pretty good since he came into the league. Now, the factor would be money-wise, because we know the Bombers are in a crunch. And you can't pay all these receivers again $200,000-$300,000. You can't have $1 million tied up in your wide receivers, and because we've seen the younger guys come in and play, so you don't necessarily need to tie that money up. And you still got Kenny Lawler out there as well. And you know, Philpot's a good receiver, and like you say, he's Canadian, and that's a good thing. But I think I would still stick with Dalton Schoen.
Dalton Schoen has been Zach Collaros' security blanket since he's been here, and Collaros' performance increases significantly from the eye test when Schoen is in the lineup. Dalton Schoen has had 2 major lower body injuries that has taken him out of the last 2 seasons at the most crucial times of the year. I think you invest in the Canadian Philpot and move on. I know Dalton Schoen still makes a lot of good money, and he left some thousands on the table, and there's loyalty there. So who knows? Maybe he might take a little less, and then that's appealing. And hey, I'd love to have Dalton Schoen back. But I think in a move where you look towards the future and at the same time invest in the now, I'd love to see Philpot in this one. So I'll go Philpot.
Yeah, thoughts on that? You can't go blame either way. Yeah, Philpot's only 24 years old too, so
you can't go wrong with either. But I'm gonna go with the younger Canadian, and those injuries, the leg injuries, the past couple years, late in the season, rough. Well, not late in the season. Last year was early in the season. We took him out for the whole season.
The whole season, yeah.
Thoughts on Edmonton hiring Mark Kilam? Great story. Dudes from Lethbridge, played football at the U of A, came into the CFL in the Stamps organization as a strength and conditioning coach, moved his way up in the coaching ranks there. unceremoniously let go by Dave Dickinson, who's really getting a reputation of being a dick, especially since Kadeem Carey went off. And it was a horrible and weird, like I said, unceremoniously. This guy wasn't the issue. Special teams wasn't the issue. Maybe it's because the players loved him. Maybe that was the issue, and Dave Dickinson didn't like that. Maybe he was being petty, but I didn't understand that move. So good for Edmonton. It looks like he's bringing Jordan Maximic and JC Sherritt as OC and DC on his staff. So talk about having experienced coaches around you for that. That's amazing. So good for Edmonton. You always want to see that franchise as a pillar of the league, even though now they're privately owned. It don't matter. You want to see them back with 35, 40,000 people. So yes, great hiring.
Yeah, that, and like you say, those coordinators that he's bringing in with him, experience. So he is surrounding himself with good guys. And like you say, Ed Hervey even came out and said it. The reason I put this guy over the top was because players, past, present, came out in support of this guy and said how much they love playing with him and being there, being on his team. And that's interesting to me. Again, Dave Dickinson, you're letting this guy go, and maybe the guy was too popular. Dave Dickinson had to get him out of there before he eventually became coach. But I mean, the Elks could have gone.
Absolutely is threatened.
That is crazy. But I get it. Dave Dickinson is a dick. Like you said, man. He, like, even to me, I don't know the guy, but I just see the guy on the field, all his stuff with the Bombers, calling the Canadian Mafia, all this kind of stuff, man. It's just like, something about him drives me crazy. And maybe it is because he kicked our butts for many years as a player and all that stuff. But it's interesting because the Elks could have gone with Rick Campbell, right? They could have gone with a guy that had experience and that last name that bears, quite a bit in Edmonton, right? But they went on a bit of a limb, and they went, and we've seen teams do this, which is nice. Like O'Shea getting with the Bombers, Corey Mace, Dinwiddie with the Argos, Jason Moss. It's different guys. It's not the same guys getting those jobs every time. Like Chris Jones, the last one to the Elks, right? So I like this. The CFL is kind of getting some new blood as head coaches. Yep. And yes, these coaches, other coaches are still around. Richie Hall, all these guys, they're still in the league, which is good. But at least they're not given the head coaching jobs, and we're seeing new blood coming in, younger guys coming in. So I'm excited to see what he can do. And like you say, he's been in the CFL for a long time, and he's been up for jobs before and hasn't gotten them. So congrats to him, and we'll see what happens.
Man, Jarius Jackson's been in the league since 2004. That's 20 years.
That as a player though, too, right?
Yes.
Not as a coach. Okay.
Yes. He's in BC from 2004
I don't think he was that
to
old.
2011. And then a year in Toronto or something like that. But yeah, 20 years. And then he went into coaching right away.
Yeah, right on. That's good.
Well, there's him.
You need that young blood, man.
Stacking that resume. A little bit of Jets talk quickly. Thoughts on Mark Scheifele not making Team Canada Four Nations Cup? My position on this. Good. Stay home and rest, bro. And look at the past few games that he's played. Well, he hasn't been effective. Probably dealing through some injuries. So just stay home, rest, maybe go somewhere warm, play some golf, chill, get ready for the second half of the season.
Yeah, it's interesting that he got left off. I thought he had done pretty good until the last couple of weeks. And like you say, with the injury, who knows what's happening there? He's kind of fallen off a little bit. But the start of the season, I thought for sure he was a lock to make it. And just looking at some of these guys that did make it, it is interesting. Like Mark Stone made it, great player and all, but the guy is injured a lot. So in this short of a tournament, you're risking kind of missing this guy out. Seth Jarvis, another interesting one, has been playing really well, making it Winnipeg boy though, right? Or Manitoba boy at least. So, yeah. I mean, good for him in that. No Connor Bedard either on this. So I thought you'd bring him in, at least get him some experience. But the one interesting thing I saw from Murat Ates on Twitter, from one of his articles though, the right side, you had Reinhart, Mark Stone, Mitch Marner, and McKinnon who would play down that right side because chances are Scheifele wouldn't be playing center anyways. And all those guys on the right side are better defensively, than Scheifele. So I see that why they may have, opted to go with some of these guys. Well, it'll be interesting to see how Mitch Marner does in a tournament with this and all the pressure because we've seen his playoff experience or performances. So hopefully it works out for Team Canada. But yeah, too bad for Mark Scheifele though. But hey, at least he gets the rest. We already got Hellebuck that's gonna play more games than he needs to already over there.
Man, I am not interested in this tournament at
No,
all.
no. 4 teams. What do they do? Well, I didn't look at the format. They play each other once. Then what? 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3 in the semis.
Yeah.
Or does no one get eliminated? I guess
And I
I should
get
look
it.
that up.
I get it. There's conflict and I get the politics of the world, but it's really hard to watch what's supposed to be an elite hockey tournament without that country.
Yeah. And you know what? Even the other countries that are not going to win it, it's always cool to see because one of them is going to at least have an upset, right?
Yeah.
You got Germany, you got no Draisaitl in this, right?
Germany.
No Denmark, no Ehlers. Obviously the country you alluded to, and then there's a few other players that are
No
just don't
Alex
have a chance.
Ovechkin. No Alex
Yeah,
Ovechkin.
exactly. At least Line made Sweden. That'd be cool to see.
No
He scored a goal
Yager in
too.
Czech. Wouldn't that be cool if he played on the Czech team? He could totally make it.
Yeah, he's still going right now, isn't
Wouldn't that
he?
be awesome if he came back for that tournament and just smoked everyone? Oh, that would be.
Isn't he still playing in Czech Republic right now?
I think he just retired officially
Czechia?
this year.
Sorry, I think I said that wrong. So yes, that's true.
I think.
Yeah.
Why? Okay. So the Jets played Nemestikov at center on line one. Why wouldn't they just put Vilardi at center? I get it. They like speed down the middle. But why wouldn't they just put Vilardi at center since he's taking the faceoffs there and just have Nemestikov maybe even put him on like the fourth line to add a bit of depth so you don't have to, put so much weight on the second line with Lambert on there being you. I don't know what your thoughts on that were. I'm not a huge fan of Nemestikov playing center on the first line.
I agree with you on that actually. And like you've always talked about, and one of your things is Vilardi, put him at center. And I always said, no. So now he's been doing it basically with Scheifele hurt. And he's been doing a good job at it. It's been fine. I know the line is not as potent as they were 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But I would not have put Lambert at center in the guy's second NHL start and first of the season on the second line. I would have let the guy ease in on the wing instead. So yes, I do agree that I don't understand Arneal's lineups choices for the last 2 weeks, and I know the Jets are playing a weird schedule in a lot of games, but I'm really questioning his choices in some of these situations.
But you can't bump Perfetti off the second line.
No, but if you could
that's why I think Nemestikov maybe in the fourth line.
But I don't know. Couldn't Lambert go left wing on there? Because there's no Ehlers, right? Ehlers was out.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So it's not like you'd bump him down. He'd just be on the left wing or instead of the right wing kind of thing, right? So
dang.
I don't know. Logan Stanley in. I don't know.
Oh, what is going on? I've never seen a team's fan base so right and an organization so wrong. I don't get it.
It's funny to watch this stuff bear out over social media and all that stuff. You got 9 out of 10 people saying sit Stanley, and then you got the one guy defending Stanley. But it's just like, and then Arneal coming out saying, hey, he's still developing. Come on, man.
He has to be in the top 6 to get better rather than the press box. What?
But how much time are you going to give him for this? Like, he's older than Vilardi.
Isn't he older than the whole second line or something like that?
Yeah, maybe not Ehlers, but right. But he's definitely older than Perfetti.
He's older than one of those lines, and it was like, what?
He's older than Perfetti. He's older than Vilardi. It's. And then you got guys like Jonathan Kovacevic who are freaking playing wicked out in New Jersey.
Yeah, people gave up on him after he got traded for a 4th rounder, but now he's back up and at him.
Yeah. And it's just like you let that go to hang on to Logan Stanley, and I don't get it. Like, you have to have seen at this point if this guy's going to make it or not. And I don't know if this is Cheveldayoff's infatuation with the guy or maybe Chipman's calling the shots, but it's crazy that all these coaches are still giving this guy an opportunity.
Like, I'm pretty sure they put the feelers out for trades, and they probably got Jack Garbage offered back.
Take it, though. Take it.
Take that 6th rounder.
Take a 7th. I don't know, man.
Gosh. Logan,
you gotta move on at some point from this, and
I know,
realize that this
but
guy's not going to make it.
at the same time, he is 6'7".
He is. Can't take that away from him.
Benny, you have anything to say to our friends?
You know what? Just thanks a lot for listening. Don't forget, subscribe, follow. Again, we got some merch out there. Check it out on social media if you're interested in anything. Drop us a line. Have a good one.
And in the words of LeVar Burton, we'll see you next time.
Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.